Don't you hate it when you forget to take your microphone off mute and you record an entire video with no audio? That's what I did here. This is my contribution to the JJ3 Under 30 promotion or challenge that Seven Plaza Creative and Crafty by Tony have put out for August. I'm going to make 3 different projects in 30 minutes or less. And I actually ended up on the less side. These are 3 fairly simple things that can make a big difference in your junk journals. So I'm going to do all of them and get through them easily because they are pretty simple projects. All right. So we are going to start with this. This I cut out from a book, Michael's book, Vintage Travel. And it had a whole page of them, so I have a bunch of them. And on one side, it has the field notes looking cover, and on the other side, it has some lined writing. So you can even put stuff on the back of this. And I have lots of paper laying around, especially odd size scraps because of the bookmaking that I do, journal making. And so I found one that was going to be kind of the right size. See, this is 4 by 3, so it's a little under 4 by 3, but use what you have. Find some papers that are the right size and easy peasy, fold them in half. I didn't even count how many there are. The nice part about this journal is because we are putting this in with a twine instead of sewing it into the binding, you can replace the pages as you run out of them. So you can use this like a notebook with little pieces of paper that you can pull out. All right, so I cut a length of twine. I think it was about a foot long, 12 inches. And then I am just going to tie it at the top. And once you get this tied, it kind of gives you lots of options. Use your favorite knot to tie it, but you can decorate the strings that are at the top or not. You can decorate the book. You can add things into it. In this case, I didn't do a lot of decoration. And as you can see, I had trouble getting my knot to come through. So whenever this happens, I just grab my crochet hook and pull it through with that. And sometimes when I'm doing a knot with a small circle, my fingers are too big to get through there. I like this knot in particular because you can adjust it while you're tightening and then get a nice tightness there that's not too tight, but it's perfect for holding those pages in. So that was project number 1. All right, coming up, we're going to do project number 2. So a while back, Seven Plaza had a video on how to make these fold in half, use your washi tape. And I love them. I've made about 1,000. And when I started making them with book pages, the leftover from the book page actually fits perfectly to create extra pockets on the tag. And so I'm going to do it today. This is a little bit modified, so I'm going to show you what I did. So this will work with lots of different book pages and papers, and I'm going to use one that's a little bit thicker because it makes it easier when I need to do when I want to do the folding and then putting in the thumb holes. The paper punches don't work real well with thinner paper. So this is 5 1/4 inches. So I'm going to mark it with my pencil at 5 1/4 inches so I know where to make the cut. And you don't have to be like super precise. Having it not to be an exact square will not hurt you in this case. And so I have my little trimmer, and I'm going to put that in, and I want to get the edge that's not torn out of the book at the top where it says the Craftelier. And the reason is I can see it more easily that way, but also I can push then, now that I have that on the line, I'm going to push it up to the top so I get a straight edge. And I'm going to save out that one piece. I'm going to start with my larger piece. I'm going to fold it. I like to do it with the words facing the right way. Totally up to you. All right, so I get this one fold. I leave part of it open, and that makes a lot of difference where the pocket goes, because you want that pocket to be a larger pocket, but not the whole thing, because then it's hard to see. All right, I have this round, Stampin' in the Round thing that I got. If you'll notice it, if I did it from a last haul that I went to a thrift store. And I discovered yesterday that I can do this. And so it's fun to have like a matching pattern on both sides of that. And then I open it up and do one extra so that when I punch that thumb hole, you're going to see that same pattern. And here I did something I didn't need to do, which was ink the bottom or put that pattern on there, but it's just going to get covered up. So now you wrap this other piece around, find where you want the middle to be, and then pull it off and straighten out that piece so you get a good, so you have the top and the bottom are straight. Okay, put that back on, and I'm going to do the rest of I'm going to roll it on both sides to get that nice fun pattern there. Okay. At this point, going forward, we're going to make our thumb notches. I like to hold both pieces together to do that, because then we get a matching pattern there. We get a matching kind of semicircle. This is an oval punch that I use on when I want bigger but less deep circles for my thumb cut. Okay, and you can see that those two match up now. And so now I'm also going to do the thumb holes for the top of each of the pockets. Now, as usual, you do not have to do this part, totally optional, especially if you're doing it with thinner paper. If you're doing it with thinner paper, I would do 2 at the same time. That usually makes it be thick enough so that the blade will get through there cleanly. All right, now we're going to ink everything. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of ink on the thumb hole side. I usually don't ink them separately other than for this part, just because I want to make sure that they get the whole thing inked. But this time around I did go and ink the bottom piece first. And some of this I won't have to redo, but some of this is going to be done again when I cut the top to make it look like a tag. So now I will ink all of the edges just to get them a little bit more weathered and a little bit more vintage looking. And then place them together for me to do my cutting. Now for my cutting, this is also something I got from Seven Plaza. I took a bunch of old credit cards and hotel card keys and I cut corners off of them. And this is the best way that you can get both sides to match. And I do have like a corner punch, but my corner punch does not have nearly this much depth. And so this is a real simple way to get it to the right size. I'm also looking for a larger corner rounder, but we'll see. Someday I might get it. All right, now finish it by inking up those edges that I just cut. And then making sure that both sides, because it's a 2-sided tag, get enough ink on them. And I love the way that the ink ends up looking, and I am sometimes terrible at remembering to actually ink before I glue. All right, I'm using my regular glue on this. It's a PVA. I'll link it down below. I have found this glue to be especially versatile. So you go with the top and the bottom and then hold this together. Give it a second to kind of fuse there before putting on the other piece. With the other piece, I'm going to go ahead and glue on that one side where I have the thumb notch, and then all the way across the bottom and up the other side of the pocket. And then I like doing this by placing the tag on top of this rather than by trying to get the outside pockets on. It is glue, so it is not dry right away, and you can move it around until you get it into the place that you want it to be. And then I'm going to give it some good squeezing at the end. Make sure that all the glue is adhering and holding everything together. Okay. Now the next step for this, you have now 3 pockets, 1, 2, 3. And the next step is really where we move into the decoration portion. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to do a hole punch in the top to have a hole there for my ribbon. And you can use hole reinforcers here. I don't have any right now, so I didn't. But you can use lots of different things for hole reinforcers, including a circle of leftover paper with the hole punched out in the middle. So there's lots and lots of options. I work with string more than I work with ribbon, and this ribbon happens to be especially slippery, as you can tell. So I went ahead and took it out and remembered at that point, I do want it to go from back to front, because I like that when you finish it, the back to front part, I think, makes a nice, neat finish with the ribbon in the front at the top. All right, I'm going to decorate with some stickers that I just made. These stickers are vintage postage stamps, and they come on a 4x6 sheet that I sell in Cozy Nerd Nook Studio. I love how they turned out, and I'm excited for them to go for sale. I have not put them up in my store yet. They should be available sometime this week. But you can see how they provide a nice little decoration here. So I have, you get your choice of 16 stamps on here. So they're good for more than one project. I also have a sticker sheet of words that I got somewhere. I don't remember. I'm very bad at remembering these things. I should write on them so I can tell you where they come from. I love words, and I love having words in collages. I was an English major, so whenever I do collages, I tend to have a word or two in there that I like. The other fun thing you can do with book pages is put your stickers or glue-ons over words that you don't like, and especially if you find words in there that might not be safe for work, you can definitely cover them up with a sticker or a or some piece of ephemera that you have available to you. So this was a fun project. I really like how these turn out, and every time they are a little bit different, and I really love them. I could make them all day. I have, in fact, made them all day once or twice. All right. For the final piece, I'm just going to move out a few things that I don't need anymore. I'm going to make pockets with, you know, you get these cards in all of your paper pads when you get them. And so I love to upcycle packing paper. And I got this idea. I was thinking about, you know, the little bakery bags that you get, kind of a thin paper like packing paper. And so I made these into pockets just using the packing paper that I had. And they end up looking really cool, I think, and will glue in nicely into a junk journal. Okay, so the way I do this is I take my card, whatever I'm going to use, put it down on the paper, and I measure so that I have a 1/2 inch margin on both sides, the right and the left. And then I cut it. Now, I am not really measuring a lot here. I'm not trying to be straight cutting. It's just getting my piece of paper so that I can cut it down later. I end up doing trimming on these pockets more often than not because I want it to look exactly right at the end. All right. So I take this and then I take the paper and fold it up, and then I place my piece on top that I'm going to use so that I get it to be the right size. And then I go ahead and make that into, just fold that piece. All right. And you can see I have a little tiny bit at the top and the bottom, but not too much. All right. Step 2, I am going to make sure that that is mostly in the middle. Before I do I forgot I do this, then cut off the top so you're not working with so much paper. And the next step is to fold up each edge over the top of the card. That means you're going to get the right size every time. And it's much easier for me than just measuring, making sure I'm right with the measurements. I fold the papers back so that they'll be easy to fold on both sides. And then I will, once I have that done, I'm going to open this up and fold in each side, making sure that it's all on that same line. All right, perfect. And I do one thing here, which is make sure that it has ended up being right. And it has for the most part. I'm going to try to straighten it out a little. But packing paper is going to do what packing paper wants to do. So even with the bone folder, it's not always going to shift the way I want it to shift. I like it anyway, so I keep using it. All right. So I open it up and I am going to cut a gusset just because I like to have a little less bulk there. So make a V cut at the bottom of each flap in the middle, and that way you won't have so much paper down there that you have to deal with. If you don't like doing this or, have never done it, don't worry about it. Not necessary. And I like to miter the corners at the top and the bottom, because then you will never see the gussets on the inside. You'll just, have them and not even know that they're there. But it makes an easier to open pocket. All right. So I use glue for these as well. I've tried with glue stick and it's not sticky enough. I've tried with double-sided tape and that works most of the time. But I think glue is going to last longer. And since I don't have a lot of warping paper problems with this one, I went ahead and used the glue. Okay. And then this is the time where you're going to put it all together. Last chance to make things line up. And then I give it a good squeeze on both sides so they get a lot of adherence. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my front card on there. You can make this into another pocket, so you have a double pocket. If you go around 3 sides, I'm going to go ahead and go around 4 sides here because I have been making them that way. And I think it's nice to have that real solid piece on the front. Okay. Make sure that you're getting it set right. But again, you're using glue, so you have a little bit of movement there to make sure it's straight and exactly the way you want it. All right. We're not quite finished yet. Almost. We're going to even out the top and make sure that it goes all the way across. And you do not have to do this. This is personal preference. I'm going to cut in a notch, and that's why I want it to be straight so that the notch will be straight. I know it's crazy to do this at the end, but the reason I do is because I want to make sure that it lines up nicely with the final project. So I use my circle punch and just put it I eyeball where I'm going to put due to how much I want circle on it. See, this is a big one. I could have used less. And there you go. That is your pocket. So there it is. 3 under 30. We did a tag pocket, a mini notebook, and a pocket. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. and hit the notification bell to see when I'm going to do my next video.